Who are you at war with? It seems as if the powers above us will do anything in their power to spite us against each other, dividing us at every turn along the way. Whether they're dividing us by our income to drop us in whichever class they seem fit, dividing the poor by who can afford the newest scam sale. Worst of all, though, dividing the minds of the population so we're too busy pointing fingers at our neighbors, rather than look up and see who really has us all under control. Well, if you personally feel like you relate to anything discussed in this video, or you just simply like the topic of the collapse of society, feel free to like, comment your thoughts, opinions below, and subscribe to see my daily or bi-weekly episodes around here at 12 p.m. Central Time. And a huge shout out to everybody who rocks my content, especially my Patreon supporters, my channel memberships, and I love y'all. Now let's begin.
Hey, I have a question.
No, we're not answering
Why?
questions. Get out of the car.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually we don't. Get out of my bar right now.
You're not welcome.
I'm not fucking around. Get out of my bar.
Okay, so as you see here, we have an altercation at a bar, and it seems like the person behind the counter who is working there is not really having it with the person who walked in, and the Karen or whoever walked in, supposedly we can assume her to be a Karen, walking in trying to cause a disturbance, and we don't really have much context behind the background of the situation here. But wait until you realize why this woman's being kicked out of this establishment.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Out.
Because I'm wearing a Trump hat.
Yes.
That's wild.
I don't care. Get out.
We can call the police, or you can just leave.
You know this is like discrimination, right?
Oh, boo-hoo! Boo fucking who? Get out of my bar.
Now, this woman got kicked out of this bar because she's wearing a MAGA hat, a Trump hat, Make America Great Again. That's her political party that she's representing. Now, fair enough, Trump is our president, so it's not like it's, the enemy. It is the president. So, apparently, it seems like that was a bar that was established. Sorry, let me go back here. It seems like this bar is maybe like an LGBT-based establishment. Maybe it's trying to support a cause. And fair enough, I support whichever cause you're trying to base your business around. I mean, they're all good, I would hope to think. But it seems almost like a backwards concept. It seems kind of like completely contradictory to discriminate against people trying to come into your establishment to buy your alcohol, to maybe buy your karaoke machine, play pool, whatever you do at a local bar, just hang out, and then not even welcome them in to be able to serve them a drink just because of what they're wearing, because of the opinions, the idea they think. Isn't this America? Is this? I can't imagine this is actually very legal. Is this discrimination? I'm not very sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if this place would have straight person only drinking fountains. Like, where is the mindset here? And maybe I can get in trouble for saying a joke like that, but what is the mindset behind this? I mean, when they get taxed at the end of the year, all the money they put in their till, doesn't matter who it comes from, white, black, Christian, atheist, gay or straight, it does not matter. All the money is the same no matter who it comes from. So as a business, I wonder how far they're going to get. And this is actually in my local area. This is about 20 miles within my area right now. So I saw this morning online, and I had to react to this because they are dividing us so much that even what they're trying to get out of us, our money, it's hindering that too because of how much we're being divided. It makes almost no sense. But let's move on.
Most don't realize it, but history is one of the biggest psyops that has ever been pulled on humanity.
We're being lied
You
to.
weren't taught truth. You were taught a narrative, a carefully crafted story designed by the victors to keep you obedient, guilty, and blind to who actually runs the world. They told you who the villains were. They told you who the heroes were, but they never told you who wrote the script or what agendas that script was serving.
What they never told you who wrote the script. Is it the Rockefellers? Is it the education system training us all to be workers like my last video? Which, by the way, I did post it on a very odd time compared to my usual uploads, but they did not push that video out at all. So, am I being censored? Who knows? Fair enough, it's still monetized, so I don't know. But either way, I do want to point out that, like I said in the intro, they are dividing us so much that it's starting to affect even the capitalism that they hold so wholly high.
What if some of the most demonized figures in history weren't demonized because they're pure evil, but because they threaten the control system? What if your entire education was psychological warfare dressed up as facts? It's not
It's a
about
war within,
glorifying
folks.
anyone. It's about seeing through the lie. History is not truth. History is control. Start questioning everything.
Don't
That's
teach
actually
the
something I
Declaration
found very ironic, is the more I scroll through TikTok, not that I find it as all-time factual, but you can hear some pretty interesting theories on there. It seems that they do teach different things in different parts of the world depending on which type of propaganda they want to push. And the more you grow up and you learn about that, the more you think it's like, well, what propaganda was I pushed? And am I really thinking, do I really know the truth? And then you start going into Google and you see all the other theories and opinions, and it's like, man, who can we really believe?
Independence in school. You know why? Because it states in the Declaration of Independence when your government's acting like this, or it's in a state of tyranny, that you have to overthrow your government. Why do you think they separate us? Democrats, Republicans, blacks versus whites. They're scared when we unite and come together, we're going to overthrow them. Why do you think they want to disarm you? Why do you think they have all these things going on, school shootings and everything else? Yeah, I hear you, but honestly, I don't put anything past our government anymore. I believe a lot of this stuff is set up to scare the people, not to allow us to arm ourselves.
It is pretty funny though. Back when I was working at my old job, I would always be on my breaks into the workroom, and I would always have the news playing, that or some random soap opera. But the news it's like they never never show good shit, and then the random good shit that they show, no one really cares about. It's like, oh, like the baseball team, is gonna be at Houston this Friday. Who cares? And then like the bad stuff is like, oh, there's like a death. There's like multiple deaths every single day. And then they blast you all this like what's coming up and how the inflation and this, and then they'll show you other people who are doing better than you, and like let's like applaud for them, and then back to how shitty we're doing. It's like, why am I watching this?
Not to allow us to unite, not to allow us to have a revolutionary war on our hands, because what they're doing to us is enslaving us from the beginning, and everybody's just waking up now. Well, it's time that we do something about it. Be careful, my people. Be careful.
I do think politics divides us and makes us softer because, people are so fake taken aback when it comes to every opinion. They're like, I don't want my friend to think that I think this and they don't think that, and everybody, oh my God. I'm surprised we haven't changed our national anthem to
Catchy, isn't it?
I know we're getting soft as a country because one time I heard a guy go, if I could just be half the man my father was. Well, you are. That's how genetics works. You're also half the woman your mom was, and you're acting like her right now, so get your shit together.
I feel like the people in the beginning of the video, they wouldn't really like this type of joke. I feel like that might offend some people.
And I'll tell you this, I don't even like that joke. I just like to watch some of the women laugh and some of the women not laugh because it proves you don't get along. It's crazy.
So we're all screwed.
And then it's men versus women. And then it's women versus women, men versus men. We're all in a war with each other. Even though we should all be, I'm not saying rising up to defeat the tyranny, but we should all be trying to help each other out, trying to build a community of likewise neighbors and, people. But at the same time, are we really all so screwed? Or is this all just a psyop mind game that we're just getting controlled by? How deep into these conspiracies can I get before they cancel me? Who knows?
It's no question, but I've been trying to figure out how exactly to articulate how screwed we all are, how dire this situation is, and I think I've got it. We all know that statistic that 1% of the population owns 50% of the wealth. But
That's
when
wild.
We're talking about such big numbers, such a big population, such a big amount of money, it's hard to really fathom how screwed that is. But I think I've got it. Imagine that all of this country's wealth is a parking lot. And in that parking lot, there are 100 spaces. And the entire population of our country is exactly 100 cars. Now, in a perfect world, 100 cars would fill 100 spaces. Obviously, nobody's expecting that to happen, but that would be idealistically equal for everybody. However, at this very moment, one car in this parking lot is occupying 50 spaces. One car is taking up 50 spaces
that don't sound right.
of this 100 space parking lot. And the rest of us are expected to park in the other 50 spaces. 99 cars in 50 parking spaces. And if that didn't sound crazy enough, this one car who is taking up 50 parking spaces, not only are they occupying 50% of the available necessary parking spaces to exist, they also own the parking lot, and they are allowing us to circulate through the other 50 parking spaces so that we can continue to exist and fund their 50 spaces.
Okay, that last part really just hit me there at the end. It really didn't all come together until he really mentioned, and then they own the parking lot. So even the shares you think you own, they still own those too. You're really just renting them, pal. We're just working together, folks. As much as you hate them, like I said, you can never fully escape the system. But ironically enough, I think that was a really good way to put into perspective, and shout out that dude for making that little analogy there. Honestly, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts, opinions regarding the current day society, the modern collapse, and how are they dividing us these days? What is the division you see currently going down in your neighborhood or your life or your reality? Because we're all kind of living in our own. Yeah, and I do want to give a huge shout out to my supporters over here who support my content, my Patreon supporters. You can DM me personally. You can chit chat for like $1 a month. You can join my channel membership and access these videos before they're accessible to the public. I post them every day. And yeah, you can just shout out anything you want in the comments, and I will check them out and reply. And yeah, I do want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's been rocking me and supporting me over here. I've been a content creator for basically my whole life, so I do see a lot of the comments. I do see you guys saying, a lot of different opinions. I do appreciate you guys sharing your wise words with the world. Some of you guys can get kind of outlandish, but hey, I love to hear it. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.